What's going on, everyone? Welcome to QVO Games. My name is Juan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. This video is going to be about the games coming to retail the week of January 8th. We have a good roundup this time, I guess. We're actually starting to kick up now. We're back to the regularly scheduled amount of games. So we have about 11 games coming out this week. I think there's 2 expansions out of those 11. But there's 2 expansions total. The rest are all games. And some of these you may have already seen before, including the disclaimer that we talk about all the time. But let's get this video going. Quick disclaimer. Keep in mind, I am covering the games coming to retail in the US. Therefore, there may be some games you have already seen being released in other regions of the world, or you may already see that content creator has a copy, he has reviews or videos on it already or content on it, or you may have picked up one of these games in a convention, but now it's coming out to retail. Next thing to keep in mind, there is still a shipping crisis going on. Therefore, some games may be delayed or a date may be changed. If that does happen, I will make sure to update you of that change and the update in the new video, right? So if the game comes out this week, but I got delayed to next week, I'll make sure to update you in next week's video about that delay going on. Awesome. Let's get these games showcased. First things first is going to be by Capstone Games, coming out January 12th, is Beer and Bread. Beer and Bread. This game, honestly, I've seen a lot of content on it already. It's been out of Gen Con, I think Gen Con or PAX, one of the two. This game was actually already there, and people picked it up from there. The game, honestly, itself, it's very warm and welcoming. I like the way it looks. So, you're playing as 2 different villages, and you're facing off, and you're brewing beer and baking bread, right? It's traditions for you guys. And you are baking them off, and you're trying to basically sell beer and bread. However, when the game ends, there's going to be only the lowest one you sold is the one you're going to be making points off. That's like your point scoring off of that. So you're going to have different rounds, and there's going to be interloping rounds of different actions. You're going to be playing cards in one, using the cards you play to gather resources in the next one. Beer and Bread. Honestly, the game I like how warm and welcoming it looks. It looks so, I don't know, it just has the color palette. It just looks so peaceful. Like a game I would play like on a Sunday morning. I don't know why it does that. Yeah, honestly, components are very simple and straightforward. The gameplay seems interesting. A lot of people have said really good things about this game. Luckily enough, there's plenty of coverage about this game already, so if you're on the fence about it, you can look it up. This is Beer and Bread by Capstone Games, coming out January 12th. Next game, Fuse Countdown, coming out January 12th as well by Renegade Games. Fuse Countdown. This is going to be an expansion to the original game called Fuse. If you haven't played Fuse, it's a real-time game, and I actually really enjoy that game. I don't own it myself, unfortunately. I played it at a friend's house, and I played their copy. It's a real-time game, and you're defusing a bomb, essentially, using dice that you pull from a dice bag. You're working with your teammates. You have, I think, 4 or 5 people, typically, and then you're going to have cards that come out, and there's a countdown going on. You're trying to basically solve the puzzles on the cards by playing different numbered dice that you rolled previously, and you're using to put down on these cards to defuse the bomb. Then you go through a series of puzzles back-to-back. So this Fuse Countdown is going to be an expansion for that, and the expansion is just going to include some different colored dice, some more dice, as well as some different puzzles to do. Fuse is a really cool game. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's a really good real-time game as well. I may or may not be picking up a copy sometime soon, just because when you already own so many games, only to be adding another game, I did enjoy it though. Fuse Countdown by Renegade Games, coming out January 12th. Coming up next, Defcon. I am going to butcher this publisher's name, by Giochi Uniti, coming out January 13th. Defcon. This game was on Kickstarter before and is now coming to retail. Keep that in mind. And Defcon is going to be a tabletop war game, and you're going to be playing as 4 different powered nations, right? So I believe it's like US is one power, Asia is another one, Europe is another one, and Australia and then is another one. There's different powers. Let's see if I can find some pictures here for us. Yeah, there we go. So different powers here are going to be the US, this whole green section, Africa and friends, and then Asia and friends, it looks like, over here. Not Asia. I'm not too sure. It's different regions. They're all different capitals. They're all different powerhouses, and they've been combined. You're playing as them, and you have nuclear missiles, conventional missiles. You have a lot of troops, and you're going up against each other, trying to outdo each other. But the way you're doing that as well, you're also managing a specific reputation system that you're trying to manage. And at the same time, when you're managing that, you're trying to battle each other out, but at the same time, maintaining and balancing reputation, because that may make you weaker to the opponent. It's interesting system. It's a tabletop wargaming game. It looks pretty straightforward and simple, honestly, from the top here. And like I said, there's a lot of these games already as well. Defcon looks cool. I think it's a really cool game. It's really going to be one that's going to include a lot of... It looks like... I watched that video earlier, so it's still there. That's kind of... So I watched the video earlier. That's a good video, by the way. They did a really good presentation about the game itself. And yeah, so basically you're playing as international powers and you're playing in a setting, a realistic setting where different countries have combined and now they're greater forces, which will probably never happen in our realistic future. However, Defcon coming out January 13th. Also coming out January 13th, Photophantom, the Young Detective and the Shy Ghost by Gyochi Uniti. I'm probably butchering that name. I apologize. Correct me in the comments if you know how to pronounce the name properly. Let me know what the phonics are. So, you're playing as a detective, right? And you're basically trying to solve the case of a shy ghost. The ghost is trying to lead you off the case so you don't find him. It's more of a family deduction game, like family player game. It's like a family deduction game. It's probably, of course, about a kid, of course, and despite like it's all about like young people. You're playing trick of cards. I was hoping they had pictures there, but it looks like they don't. They're playing. It's trick-taking. You're playing trick-taking, trying to find out the puzzles, and then the ghost is just throwing in curveballs to you to distract you or dissuade you off the course. Photophantom, Detective and the Shy Ghost by Gyochi Uniti, coming out January 13th. Coming up next is going to be Under the Night in Birth Exceed Gordeau box. I'm going to go with Gordeau, the Gordeau box. Under the Night in Birth Exceed Gordeau box by Level 99 Games. This is a dueling card game as well. It's going to be 4 players. I really enjoy what Level 99 is doing with like their games, honestly. There's a lot of like I said, it's just a bunch of anime stuff, and I really enjoyed that. I played their game Bullet Heart and Bullet Star, and I really enjoyed those 2 games. Also, if you don't know this already, I'm a big weeb, I guess. I love anime. I really do enjoy anime. I love watching. I watch a lot of different anime. And I really enjoy when those games are being brought, like that theme or genre, like anime is being brought into board games and being turned into like really good games. Level 99 hasn't disappointed yet. They're doing a really great job. And Exceed Fighting System, Under Night Birth Gordeau is going to be a dueling card game, right? You're playing as four different characters, and the characters are come inside the box here. They've been doing this a lot too. They have like boxes and box sets for like all their characters or expansions, so you can play as different characters. They did it with Sakura Wars, I believe it's called Sakura Wars. It's that pink box game, Sakura Wars, and this one does it as well. You buy like the expansion and buy like different characters. So dueling card game. You're playing as cards. Honestly, that's really all it is. You're dueling in card games. You're doing it on a grid here in the middle, and you're playing out cards, trying to outdo your enemy with different power-ups and combos. That's going to be Exceed Fighting System under Night in Birth Exceed Gordeau box. They already have like a bunch of other expansions coming out too as well for this. Coming up next by Horrible Guild is going to be The Great Split, coming out January 13th. Honestly, interesting one. They do have pictures. I remember that for sure. It's a very interesting one. So it's a drafting card game, and this is basically going to be like scoring mechanisms, but you're kind of like making deals, trying to like get specific cards from like your enemies, other people, not enemies, other players. Could be enemies. Other players on your left-hand side. So you're going to pass your cards over, and you're going to make deals trying to like get specific cards that you want to try to like work up your points. And then you build prestige collections, right? You have a collection of cards which are like different jewels and diamonds and such. And those cards are going to give you different power-ups here. These are going to be used to score things. Not give you power-ups, give you a score. And it's going to be like the scoring section here. And these are going to be all your scoring. And this little wallet is your wallet that you're going to be passing around, trying to get people to look at your stuff, and then you're going to make trades with them. The game looks cool. It looks really interesting. I think the game looks a little unique, and I like that. I want to see how it plays, I think, first and foremost. Yeah, here like collection jewels, diamonds, different items it looks like. It says here you split, they choose. Trade cards with neighbors, grow your collection, make the most of the different scoring mechanisms, craft the perfect offer, push your opponent to take what you want them to take. Game looks really interesting. I really think the game, I love the components, the way it looks, the whole drafting thing and convincing, like a little bit of negotiation going on. I, for some reason lately, have been really starting to figure out that I think I like negotiation style games a lot. Hence, like, Moonrakers. I love Moonrakers. And I love the negotiation part of it. Like, hey, you come with me and I'll give you X amount. But here it's more like, hey, you give me this and I give you this. And then you start kind of collecting your, I think it's more like a little bit like set collecting. Not even set, because you're not collecting sets. You're collecting collections to like try to improve your score. This is going to be The Great Split by Horrible Guild, coming out January 13th. Coming up next by Cranial Creations on January 13th as well is going to be Mystery House Adventures in a Box, The Secret of Pharaoh. So, escape room deduction family game, right? If you know what Mystery House is, let me show you the box and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh no, they don't have the box here. Okay, so this is going to be an expansion for Mystery House. Mystery House is actually pretty cool in concept, right? You have a box like this, and you're looking into the box. It's almost like an escape room style game. And you're looking in to find different clues and things that are going to help you solve the mystery. This is an expansion, of course. It's the mystery, the secret, well, I could not read that for seconds because it's in different language. Mystery House Adventures in a Box. So it's the Secret of Pharaoh, basically. The Secret of Pharaoh is going to be a expansion or module to this. You have to have the base game, of course, to play this one. And it adds a little pyramid up top. And you have a whole new puzzle to solve and a whole new mystery to figure out. And it's going to be, like I said, looking through this here, along with a companion app that's going to help you kind of deduct and detail more of the items that you get when they're passed out. Honestly, in concept, the game is really interesting because I like these, I like just little gimmicks like this where it's just a little different and looks different. This is something that's going to be really interesting. If you play the games before, this might interest you. If you haven't played the game before, may or may not. But I feel like this might be one of the better escape room box games just because I feel like it's more tactile instead of just flip over a card and do this. Not saying those games are bad, but I just think this might be a little more interactive, and I like that a lot. This is going to be an expansion to Mystery House called The Secret of Pharaoh and Adventures in a Box. Next, coming out January 13th, is going to be Pan's Island by Madigo and Friends. By Madigo. Madigo is a pretty big publisher, by the way, if you don't know who they are. You probably do, but they're a really massive one. Pan's Island. Interesting, right? Pan's Island, you're playing as your favorite characters from Peter Pan, right? There's Wendy, Tiger Lily, Wendy's brother, and you're playing as a cooperative game. I like the art so far. I don't know why. I like something about the characters and the way it's done. It looks pretty interesting. I like the way it looks. I like that a lot. Like the shading, I guess. So the shading on it just looks really fine. I like the anime. Like the way it just looks. I like a movie on these guys or a TV show. That'd be a lot of fun. Pan's Island. Back to the game. You are playing cooperatively, and you as one of the players have hidden one of the lost boys. Your goal is to go in and find the lost children who got lost on the island, right? And the island's going to be right here in the board. And you hide one, but you can't tell everyone where there is. You have to give clues with the cards you have in your hand. Give out clues to let people know, this is where my lost kid's at, where the lost kid's at. But yet it's the whole puzzle of it all is that you know, but they don't, but you just can't tell them flat out. Of course, kills the game. It's going to be a family-friendly deduction game. It's a family deduction game. You're going through trying to find the lost kids because Captain Hook hit them. When it technically was you, I guess, in sense of the mechanics. Now, they have a great video there as well that actually explained the game pretty well. So, Pan's Island is going to be more of a kids' family game. Games for you more if you're into these type of more lighter games. I played lighter games, and I actually don't mind them. It's even kids' games, right? I hate to call them kids' games. They're just games in general. I played these lighter games, and they can be a lot of fun. It depends on the crowd. I think it's always good. These lighter games are good for introducing kids into them, introducing more gateway games for kids. This is going to be Pan's Island by Madigo, coming out January 13th. Coming up next is going to be Zombicide Gears and Guns, coming out January 13th. This is going to be an expansion to Zombicide Undead or Alive. So Undead or Alive is the steampunk version of Zombicide. We have up 10 of them. We have a theme for every one of them now. I have the Marvel Zombies one, which just came in yesterday, and I am super pumped to play that. But Zombicide Gears and Guns is going to be for an expansion for Undead or Alive. Undead or Alive, Zombicide. I mean, you go in, you have an objective to complete, you have zombies rushing in, you're rolling dice with your friends cooperatively, trying to kill the zombies with different guns you pick up and different characters with different abilities. Honestly, games are fun. You can't really say they're just fun dice chuckers, right? You have a bunch of dice, you power up, you shake them up, boom, you hit what you want. It hits the dopamine right where you want it. So this is going to be an expansion for that Gears and Guns. It's going to add a slew of more items and things and abilities to use in the game itself, and that's coming out January 13th, along with Zombicide Running Wild. So this is going to be another expansion for the game as well. And it's going to include new survivors, a new mount to ride on. It's going to add a couple of new things to add to your game, to add some variability to the game. Running Wild Zombicide. Man, there's a lot of these games, and there's a bunch of expansions out for these as well. It's going to be coming out January 13th. And that's it. I am so happy that we're back to just having these games coming out and being able to just inform you and make content and showcase these games. A lot of great stuff coming out, and I'm excited to just see what else comes in January 13th. Thank you for January 13th, in the year of 2023. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it. And if you made it this far, thank you. That's awesome. I really appreciate the fact that you watched the whole video and you decided to watch me and listen to me speak and talk to you about games. If you are picking up any of these games, let me know down below in the comments. Yeah, let me know if you're picking up any of these games or if there's one on your radar. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to talk about it. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. and even drop a comment. That would really help for the channel and let us know that we're doing a good job here at QVO Games. Thank you so much. Have a good one.